Here we go. So welcome. It is November 13th, 2024. Welcome to the Realtor with 3 R's Mastermind. I'm here joined by my co-host, Mr. Steven Diaz. And we are also, in addition, being joined by Justin Mercer, aka Call Tattoo. And the conversation today is the power of building a personal brand. His personal brand is so strong that I never even knew his real name. All I knew is like Call Tattoo. I know this guy, Call Tattoo, Call Tattoo. Like that's the power of a personal brand. And I'm going to get into some of his accolades. Mr. Steven Diaz, bro, like how did you, and also give a huge shout out and give a round of applause to Mr. Steven Diaz because of Steve, we got Justin coming into the Zoom. So, thank you so much, Steven, for setting this up and bringing value to the community, bro. So how'd you guys meet? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was at a mastermind in Arizona. If you guys don't know, Justin's from Arizona. It was called Think Bigger. I thought he was like a security guard or something at first, right? Like security for the event. No, but I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, like I know I had trouble in the beginning, like when I first started real estate, because I had tattoos, right? And I just have sleeves, nothing on my neck, nothing on my face. And when I first seen Justin, I was like, damn, like, can you imagine? Like, I thought I had it hard when I got into real estate. Like, I can't even imagine like how it was for him. And then I got to hear his story, and his story is just amazing. So I'm excited for everyone here to hear his story. How you can brand yourself and just have so much confidence and actually turn something negative that people view as negative, right? Like tattoos on your face, on your neck, on your head, and flip that and make it a positive to where you brand yourself and you're getting business from it. So super excited to have Justin. Thanks again, bro. And yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome, Mr. Steven. Thank you so much. And without further ado, we want to give Mr. Justin as much time as possible to share. Just to give you a couple of nuggets, right? I follow him, a fan of his on social media. But he has a video that's gone over 10 million views. One video that's gone over 10 million views, right? Several videos that have gone over 1 million views. And he's going to share his story. So I definitely don't want to share a lot of the details, but I'll just give you guys some context. His first 2 years, he sold 60 properties. His first 2 years in the business, 60 transactions. Last 12 months with investments and transactions, he's done 100 transactions in the last 12 months. 5 years in the business. I want to say that a couple of times because I want to highlight the possibility of what you have available in such a short amount of time. So, Mr. Justin, without further ado, welcome to the call, bro. Let's go. Give him a huge welcome. Blow up the chat. Show him some love.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you. So,
Of course.
I guess I'll give you guys a little background. So that last year, the 100 deals, it's we have a retail business and investment business. We focus on both sides of the business. I didn't do that in the beginning of my career. So the second year, 5 of those 43 I did second year were wholesale. And I realized those 5 equal to like 15 of the transactions. So that's when I started adding the investment side into my business. But I wanted to give you guys more of a background before real estate, because what happened, like when I was in real estate, I was looking up to everybody that had business, and I think I was looking up to the wrong people, only because I wasn't doing real estate the right way. I didn't really learn how to do real estate the right way, and I made a lot of mistakes. When the market turns, you realize how hard it is. So I'm starting to get more of a balance between what I do and the right way to do real estate. But as far as this call goes, I want to come at you guys as an average Joe perspective, because I think it's easy to hear people speak about real estate and what they've done in it. And then a lot of times people don't equate that to like, okay, that's you, but it doesn't really help me. So everything I've done, everything that we'll talk about today is not something I was taught. It's all from like human behavior and just learned through the business. So that's why I like doing classes like this, because it teaches people more like from an average Joe's perspective. Here's how I built a real estate career knowing nothing. So prior to real estate, I was a teacher back in the day. So I've been working with kids since I was like 15. Ended up through my whole 19, 18, all that, I was working with kids, and then I taught for 2 years. So stopped teaching when I was around 24, 25, because teachers in Arizona don't make anything. And I went to work at Pepsi where I was driving a semi. Everyone told me don't go there. It's like they kill you, they work you to death. And I found out the hard way. And during that time, I started getting tattoos, and I got addictive personality, so they started growing, and they were putting me in the hood delivering. So I was just like, I fit in. So, I was getting heavily tattooed while I was working at Pepsi. I got an impulsive personality, and you can see how impulsive I am. But
The tattoos grew. I've never heard
yeah,
that term before. The tattoos grew
yeah.
automatically, huh?
Well, when I started going above the neck and back of the head, like my mom started getting scared, and she's like, "You're not going to work." We get in fights about it. And one day I was coming back from one of my routes, and I was always the first one done. And one of the heads of Pepsi was there, and he had mentioned to the boss I didn't even think liked me. He said, "We have that guy working for us." And I was in the other room, and I overheard the conversation. And what I heard him say, this is the guy who I didn't think liked me. He says, "Yeah, but if you get rid of him, you're going to have to hire 3 people to replace him." And that saying right there, like really stuck with me because it kind of showed me that my work ethic and character were mattered way more than the look.
Mhm.
So I kind of had that instilled in my mind. Then after 13 years of busting your ass for a company, you realize like they don't want to let you go because how hard you work. But want to give you perspective on the day that kind of changed my whole life. And I was driving back. It's like 118 degrees outside in Arizona. It gets hot. I'm in a semi and I have no AC. A lot of the trucks didn't have AC or they break throughout the day. I would carry an extra shirt and extra pair of socks because I sweat through everything all day. 818 degrees, they load these trucks up with like 27,000 pounds worth of product, and we got to take it off the truck, wheel it in the store across parking lots, put it away. So it was backbreaking labor. So this was a 14-hour day, and I'm driving back. It's 5 p.m. I started at 3 a.m. that morning. So I'm like 14 hours in, and I see a billboard on the side. It said the tattooed lawyer. And just seeing that, I said to myself, that's exactly who I would work with. And that one little memory stuck in my head because at that time when I saw it, I was going through a divorce. So not only was it the worst work day ever, I was also in the middle of divorce, and I was just like feeling really defeated. And that kind of like that picturing that, I was just like, damn, dude. And I started doing more research. And I was like, oh shit, he's like heavily tattooed. He's a lawyer. He's got business here. He's got business in California. He's got a practice in Las Vegas. So I was like, damn, he's built something from his look. So I kind of always had that in my head, like, damn, you should do something like that. I had always loved real estate, but I never thought I could do it. There was no specific rule. It was me against me. So cut to 6 years later. I'm telling this backstory because it really does play a lot into my branding and marketing.
I
But
love it. I love
cut
it,
to
bro.
six
Keep
years
sharing.
later, I'm going through my second divorce, and it was really embarrassing for me to even talk about this stuff because I'm a closed off person. I don't never talk before real estate. Like I don't open up to people. So, but when I started seeing like people paying attention to me, I naturally want to help. So I was like, there's so many people that are like me. Let me just tell them my story because a lot of people are going to hold themselves back too. So 6 years later, I'm going through a second divorce, which is super embarrassing to talk about, but this is like for my best friend. Like we never had issues in our relationship. We were perfect, and we're sitting on the couch filling out divorce papers, not because our relationship's in turmoil, it's because I'm in turmoil with myself. And it was just getting beat down after work for 13 years. You working 60 hours a week. I finally got transferred out of the hard backbreaking labor into Frito-Lay, which is owned by Pepsi. So when I was married to her, I was 2 years at Frito-Lay, 2 years with her because I quit doing that stuff because I knew it was breaking my body and my head, and I had to get out of that. But now I'm going to just a different part of the company. And instead of the backbreaking labor, I'm starting at midnight. So my kids have school, like I get halftime 50-50. So I want to get in bed till like 10 o'clock, and I got to wake up at 11 to go to work at midnight. So I would sleep an hour before work and an hour after work. And 2 more years of that, it just does a job on your psyche. So I didn't like my wife at the time dealing with that. And she was 21. I was 32 or 31. I was like, you know what? You need to go be young. Like I'm miserable. You see me miserable. Like I'm not happy. And it was all because of work. So that day, this is a
Wow. Love you, brother. Thank you so much for sharing, dude. Thank you so much for sharing. Show Justin some love in the chat,
no,
guys. Like,
no, you're good.
thank you
It's
so
like
much, brother.
I've
Thank
told
you
this
so much
story
for
like 100 times, and this part always gets me because it's real for people. So um at that time I was like second divorce, just lost wife, the house, and the kids weren't hers. So 50-50, like with my ex, I'm like now I'm not having her anymore. I'm like I got to give it to her because I'm getting divorced. So here it is. And I'm just like, you know what? I've always had this idea to do real estate. I just always tore myself apart. And I'm just like, I'm sitting in the corner of my room and I'm like, life can't get worse. And at that time, I was gonna off myself. So,
Mm.
and even that, I don't like talking about it, but it's real. And I want to tell people like the real it's a catalyst for what has happened afterwards. So everything that I have today is come from that self-realization moment where you can't keep going down this road. So I think a lot of people are out that, and it's that back against the wall moment where you find out what you're made of that's going to help you like boost anything in the career. So this is going to lead into step one. So that's why I'm so long with this
All right.
story, because I just want to show the rawness of it. So
Oh,
I ended up,
let me.
oh, good.
I was just gonna say, bro, I
Oh,
didn't want to interrupt you, but I'm gonna share your slides. Look, you got some beautiful slides up in here. Let's go.
so yeah, well, we'll turn it around now. Sorry, that part always just gets me. I can't ever get past that. So here it is. It's like I just lost my wife, my kids, my house. Life can't get worse, to the point where I wasn't going to be here anymore. And I said, you know what? Instead of going the extreme route, because I am a father, I've always wanted to do real estate. Life can't get worse than it is right now. So worst case scenario, I just go do this anyway if it doesn't work out. So that night, it was like 9 o'clock when what I'm talking about all happened. And I started work at 12. I said, screw it, I'm just going on at 11. So I didn't go to sleep that night. Worked my 13 hours, got off of work at 1, went straight to real estate school, paid the class, signed up, went to school that night. So for the next 2.5 weeks, I didn't sleep. I maybe slept 3-4 hours through the week, because I went straight from work to school, to pick up my kids for a couple hours, to the night classes at school to finish the test. So I did both tests. I got my license in 2.5 weeks, from worst day of my life to licensed in 2.5 weeks, because I just said, fuck it. I'm not going to let anything stop me. So all that is to tell you guys, I'm not a brander. I'm not a marketer. I don't know shit about business. I know nothing about social media. I knew nothing about real estate. I was a dude who was at the worst point of his life and decided to make a change. So everything I tell you guys right now is coming from an average Joe perspective. There's no training, there's no classes, there's no mentorship that taught me any of this stuff. So everything we go through today is stuff that you guys can do for yourself in your own business. So I want to go to step one, which is why. And I think a lot of people, I don't want to be too corny when I say the why, because everyone says, oh, what's your why? I think a lot of people's why are like the family, the kids, and all that. And I wanted something that was going to motivate me every day and push me, because I'm one of those. You guys ever been through a breakup when you get broken up with and you spend the next 2 months powerhouse in the gym, and then you just get lazy when you meet somebody else? But it's that mindset, that just I'm going to get back at you type mindset, that makes you work harder than you ever worked before. So when I say why, it's find the true why. It's going to keep you pissed off and keep you motivated. And my why wasn't my kids. I had the worst job with my kids, but I still put my kids to bed, still kissed them goodnight, still took them to Disneyland. So my kids aren't my why. That's my obligation as a father. So what was going to motivate me every single day? And my why was to shut people up. I know it sounds stupid, but if there was a stigma on heavily tattooed people, and I got a lot of shit when I joined. So my whole motivation every single day was like, there's a lot of things you can say about my look and say about what I'm doing and say I'm professional, whatever you want. But the only thing you can't argue with is success. So if I have the success doing it, like your comments, your negative has no validity in your comments. So I
Yes,
tell
yes, I
people
love
is
that, brother.
define the real why, like what's going to motivate you. And when it came to like shutting people up, I was like, oh, okay, like I can't do this. We'll see. Like I've always been when I was a teacher, I was the best teacher. When I was a driver, I tried to strive to be the best driver. Real estate's one of those careers where I don't think you'll ever be the best. So like seeing people like Steven and seeing the people in my office, I'm just like, damn, I want those views. I want that follower count. I want that transaction count. Not that I'm jealous or tearing them down more. It's because like I'm motivating myself to work towards those goals. So step number one, I know it's cheesy, but find a why that's going to motivate you. Step number two is my favorite one. It's something like I think I do better than any agent out there. And it's think like a consumer, not like an agent. And I think a lot of agents think like agents. And my career changed when I started living like my work life from perspective, not from perception. And when I say that, it's because the perspective of the buyer, of the seller, of the client you're working with is completely different than what you have in your head. Like when you go to a listing presentation and they give you pushback for commission, they're not giving you pushback for commission. They're giving you pushback for what they're going to pocket. So their price is worried. So it's taking the problems in real estate and finding the perspective view from it, not the perception. So think like a consumer. Why I say this is because I'm licensed now, right? Where do I get the clients? The real estate school teaches you a lot of shit. They don't teach you anything you need to know. 90% of stuff you don't learn. So instead of like asking everyone around me, like, how do I get clients? I went back to myself first. I was a guy who hated his job, and I bought 2 houses and sold 2 houses. I knew nothing about real estate at the time. So how did I choose my agent was the biggest question I had asked myself. You guys know why I chose my agent? She was the hottest girl at the gym. And that's real though. It was the hottest girl at the gym. So when I say think like a consumer, I wasn't here like I'm like, how did she get my attention? Why did I use this person I didn't know? Because when I thought about it and went back to that time, I knew 8 different agents on my social media. I had people I went to school with, people I played football with, my buddy's wife. I had a cousin that was an agent. I'm like, so now that I'm trying to get business, I was like, why didn't they get my business? So instead of thinking about it, I just went to their pages at the time I bought a home. So I just looked up when I bought it. So I went around those months to those people I knew. And I said, why didn't I use these people? And when I looked on their pages, like a couple of them were posting food every day, like nothing family stuff. And then there was 3 of them that stuck out because every single day they're like, here's the market median price in Phoenix. Here's what interest rates are. Here's this. And here I am as a consumer and I'm not paying attention to any of that stuff. Because it bored me, it's not interesting. And because I have an agent, I just figured she knew what she was talking about. So I don't need to study this kind of stuff. So I'm not telling anyone right or wrong what to post. It was just more like, these are the people that I'm supposed to be using, and I wasn't using them. And I looked why, and it was because, probably because they were boring me. I didn't know exactly why at that time. But when I thought about it and I looked at my agent's numbers at that time, she sold 3 houses all year. I mean, did she know what she was doing? 100%. She was a great agent, but I started thinking, I was like, damn, I wonder if I would have used her if I'd known that. But then I go, like, if I go to Steak 44 here in Arizona, order $140 steak, like I don't go ask the chef for his credentials. Like I just know it's $140. It's a nice restaurant. It's going to be good. Right. So I think a lot of agents also choose like that. So these next kind of 4 steps lead into like thinking like a consumer, knowing like, hey, I was in the market buying a home. I was a consumer and I didn't care about market posts. I didn't care about median prices. I didn't care about any of that stuff that I was kind of taught as an agent to start putting out there to people. It was just boring them. So like think like a consumer. I'll touch back this on a couple of other ones. Like I don't want to spend too much time when I get through all 6 of these, but that's it. There's a lot in think like a consumer, but it's just more from a broad living your life through perspective, not perception will help a lot. Number 3, perception. And here's why I say perception is huge because when I got licensed pretty much December 2019, but I started business. I still was working 60 hours a week. So I was licensed, but I still had my job. And the news came and did a story on me. So I got a lot of traction here in Arizona, went from like 1,000 followers to 5,000 overnight on Facebook, which was the max. And so I started posting more and I was getting a lot of people like engagement. So I was like, I need to start using this engagement for more, right? So these guys had asked me to do an open house at their $2 million listing. And it was mostly because the news story I got, and they were like, they just wanted promotion for their open house. So like, this dude's here, he'll blow it up, right? So they asked me to do the open house, and I was like, you know what? It's February. I quit my job. I saw there's a lot of jumble right here, but basically, I was licensed. I got a lot of traction, and my team lead at the time said, Justin, like, when are you gonna start doing real estate? Because like, there's no way you're doing real estate because you work 13 hours, you get off. Like I don't have time to do real estate and I still have to catch up on an hour of sleep before I gotta go work. So he's like, you need to just quit. You have all these people following you now. You have all this motivation. I didn't have any deals closed though. And so I started thinking about it. Like here I am telling everyone to follow their dreams and look what I did. I finally doing what I love. And I had a safety net the whole time. So I felt like I was lying to people. So I quit my job, put my 2 weeks in. I had one in escrow, 2 weeks ends, and that one fell out of escrow. And here I go to my team. I'm like, dude, my escrow fell out. I just quit my job. And they're just like, well, that's real estate. And they just move on. And I was just like, oh, wait, like there's no one feels sorry for you, nothing. It's just like, oh yeah, that's real estate. And I learned the hard way. I was like, oh shit, like it's just grind mode. Like no one cares about anything when it comes to this, right? So February 2020, that fell out, got to 2 weeks. March 2020, what happens? COVID. So now it's just like, nobody knows what the hell's going on. I still don't know how to do real estate. And that's when I sat down and came up with these 6 steps. Like, what am I going to do to get real estate? So that's why, fast forward, perception number 3, they asked me to do open house. So I was thinking, how do I get the most people at this open house? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get in I got suited up. So I was in a full suit. I sat in a hot tub and I had a glass of wine. And I wanted to make it more funny, not real estate related. Because when I asked my people, when I started doing real estate, I'm like, hey, why did you follow me? And they're like, because it was either the acting stuff, it was the clothing line, or I did post a lot of funny memes. So they're like, we love your personality and your sense of humor. So I'm asking that because that's my core people who follow me. So now bringing that into real estate, I was like, I don't want to bore people with real estate. I just want to stay with my funny personality. And it's not been done a lot in real estate. When I was watching videos, not a lot of people had like the funny stuff. It was mostly like serious. So I got in a full suit and tie, that wine, and I said, ladies, do you love rich men with beautiful houses? Go ahead and swipe right. And the camera lady was like, no, Jess, it's not for your Tinder, it's for your open house. And I was like, oh shit. And I introduced the open house. But the point is that video got like 350 shares on Facebook. And this is an open house video. And I was like, dude, how did an open house video get 350 shares? Had nothing to do. Maybe it was my look, but it was like it was the funny aspect of it. Like, why are people sharing this? And it was shared because it made them laugh. They want to see the house, whatever. But I'm like, 300 shares on a video, like it kind of like let some light bulbs off in my head. And that open house was slammed all weekend. I was baking cookies for people, like had a bunch of people through, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna ride this wave. So the next weekend, I did a open house at another 900,000. I did a $900,000. Next week, at an $800,000 listing, and everyone's coming after me like, Justin, like I didn't think you were serious, dude. Like you're really doing real estate. I didn't sit there and say it's not my listing. That's what think like the consumer. They had no idea these aren't my listings. They're not in real estate. All the agents knew, but they're not going to buy from me anyway. So I started promoting hard on social media, my stories on the page. I come to my open house and I was getting traction left and right, conversations. There's 13 messages at this open house, 40 at this open house. And there was a lot of people saying like, dude, like you're getting busy. You got another listing. And I didn't say it's not my listing. I said, bring me a buyer because I can represent the buyer. So when I say perception, I wanted to look busy because I didn't want to look like a joke. So I would post the story like a boomerang, writing a contract. I wasn't really writing a contract, but I wanted to show people I was busy. And cut to, like I said, March 2020, I had nothing in the pipe, nothing coming up, and I don't know anything about real estate. Like I told you, April of 2020, I closed $1.8 million in sales. So I was like, oh, damn, like this is the way to go, this perception. Everyone thinks I'm busy. So I just hammered that same process. I didn't try to reinvent the wheel. I was just doing what was working at the time until I had to pivot. So step number 4 kind of leads into step 3. And that was social media, because like I told you, like 300 something shares in that video. I'm like, here's going to be my bread and butter, is this perception and social media base. So social media, this can be a topic on its own for an hour and a half, but in reality, I just want to go through like a couple things on social media. It was really like the big boost of my business. I remember after that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do another funny real estate video. What should I do? Talk to people in my office, had this idea, and everyone said, don't do it, dude. Like, do not do that. I sent it to you, Leon, if you had it, but it was I was in like a pink mesh stripper shirt. Like I got it from Castle's. It's a sex store here. So anyway, it's like a pink net shirt, and I had a black leather mask, and I had like pink fuzzy handcuffs. But I started the video off just an email, and it said, Justin, like, we appreciate you showing us the homes. Like, you're very knowledgeable, but me and my wife decided your look is too much, so we're gonna go choose a different agent. I had people blowing up the comment sections. I'm like, dude, you didn't even watch the video. Like, wait 1 second, right? So it starts out that email, then it pans to me where you see me in that pink shirt. We got the handcuffs on. I have this leather S&M mask on, and I open it up and I spit out a ball gag. And I was like, can you believe how stuck up people are these days? And just went around and did an email. That video is not a real estate video. Like, I don't really consider that a real estate video, but it got me 5 deals. And these 5 deals, everyone told me don't post this video. They're like, it's too gray area. Don't do it. You're gonna turn people off. But I was more like, no, I'm just going for the people that follow me. Like, I don't care about anybody else. So through this social media platform, I learned a lot about marketing. And one of the things I did learn is the 30% rule. McDonald's, all these people, they spend billions and billions of dollars on advertising, but vegans don't go there, vegetarians don't go there, health nuts don't go there, gluten allergies. So there's a lot of the population that doesn't go to McDonald's, but they still spend the $1 billion telling people. So when I learned through marketing is you always get 30% of people. Like, you're always going to have your crowd of 33% that will always use you, love you, promote you. Then there's going to be a 33% that never uses you. They won't ever like you. Don't try. But then there's also a 33% that they're not out. They're just kind of in the background, right? Can you get their attention or not? But what I think a lot of people do on social media is they stop who they are to try to appeal to 66% of the people. Like these people are not going to share your content. They're not going to engage with their content. They're going to hate on you. They're going to do all this stuff. So instead of focusing on this 66%, like changing who you are to try to appeal to everybody, just lean into your people. Like those were the people that were sharing my shit that got pushed out to other people that didn't see me. So when I say social media, I'm just going to use this one video as an example of this is not a real estate video whatsoever. I don't think I spit any real estate facts in there, but it had everything to do with real estate because you know I'm an agent. And the first person that reached out to me, it was a client, and she's like, "Oh, my girlfriend shared your post. I loved it. Went and met her husband, showed her what I do." So when I went marketing wise, I'm like, I had no call to action. I didn't have a value proposition. It was just to get my foot in the door. Because when she reached out to me, I went to the house, got the listing, sold her house. She bought a house. She sent me to her mommy blog where someone else had a buy sell, and then she sent me one more referral. So that's 5 deals from one video. So
Wow.
social media kind of taught me I don't have to be this prim and polished realtor on social media. I just got to do what I've always been doing to my people. And that can show you that video right there. It had like 40,000 views on Facebook, which is like hard to get, in my opinion, on Facebook.
Wow.
So it's
Hey, I have the video, Justin. You want me to play it? You want me to play the video real quick?
Oh, do you have that one?
Yeah, it's the one you sent me.
Yeah.
It's the one you sent me, right? The one you sent me, right? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
The one where you're pointing at the screen. I just want to make sure that that's the one. Here, let me
Oh,
go ahead. This one right here. This one right here, right? Let me know if you guys can hear it. Can you guys hear it?
There's no music on this part.
Okay, cool.
So that's just me saying how stuck up people are. But it's like this video, like that's not a real estate related video whatsoever, but it doesn't have to be. It was just me trying to be me on social media and get the same people I've always been getting. But you can tell through 2 videos, you're talking almost 500 shares through stuff that has nothing to do with real estate. So step 4, social media, it's just embodying yourself on social media, being on it, being active, and don't change who you are.
And hey, Justin, real quick, in the background there, is that you dressed up as NSYNC? It looks like bye.
Oh yeah, that was a billboard I had. I'll actually talk about that billboard in the attention one too. What was that? Are we step 5? So yeah, social media is an hour long. I just want to kind of brief on a couple things because I want to do questions at the end. Don't want to bore you guys with an hour worth.
This is good stuff. This is really good stuff. This is really good stuff. Put it in the chat, guys. If you guys are getting value, show Justin some love. I know I'm getting a ton of value here. I'm loving everything you're sharing, bro. I love your vulnerability, your sharing, your content, everything you're doing. I love it, brother.
Well, this is the fun stuff too. This is what everybody wants. This is the trap setting activities that people I don't think take enough time doing. Step number 5, I'll go through the next one, is R&D. So how I told you guys, April 2020, I'm like closed $1.8 million from nothing. So I had this trajectory. I'm like, okay, this is real estate. Like, how do I pump this? How would I push the foot on the gas from this moment, right? I had one closing going to happen in May. And that kind of psyched me out because halfway through May, I only have one closing. So I was like, you know what? This inconsistency is going to throw me off. So instead of asking everybody else, what should I do? I just looked at everyone in my office. I was in an office full of producers. Like we had one of the top producing offices in Arizona. So I'm like, everything I'm going to learn is going to learn from these people right here. So instead of like guessing and going to people and asking them what to do, because you can go to YouTube and find out what to do, I just wanted to see what they're doing first. So I went to all the top producing teams in my brokerage's social media. I went to their Facebooks and Instagram, their TikToks. I said, what are you guys posting that I'm not posting? What are you doing that I'm not doing? And I was tearing their pages apart, just trying to find stuff that would give me an idea, generate some thought process. So, excuse me. So there's this one team, Rise. They had 6 closings in May. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to see what they were doing. They had this thing where they bought like 8 boxes of donuts and they give it out to everyone in the neighborhood. And they usually have like 4 or 5 left, and they drop off the boxes to the police department or the fire station. So I was like, that's a dope idea. But when I looked at it, and I was like, and this is R&D. I don't believe in rip off and duplicating. I believe if you're going to rip off somebody, you're going to make it 10 times better. You're not going to do it at all. Don't like copy people just thing for thing. So I wanted to say, how do I copy people? But I'm going to blow their idea out of the water, right? So when I started thinking about it, I'm like, here they are, Dunkin' Donut boxes. They tape the business card on top of the box. They give them out to the neighborhoods. They say hi, great. When they drop it off at the fire station, police station, though, I'm like, that's the thing I want to do. I don't farm a neighborhood, so doing the neighborhood handoff's not going to really be beneficial. but handing the donuts out would be. So think about it, May 2020, like COVID is a big thing. Hospitals are going to be packed. So I went and just did one hospital. I bought like 10 boxes of the crumble cookies. But when I looked at the donut boxes, I said, think like a consumer, right? I'm going to go drop off these donuts in this hospital. And what's going to happen if I'm a doctor, if I'm a nurse, anything? I'm going to run up to the box, open it, grab a cookie, and walk away. Like, I don't care who brought it. Like, how many of you guys go to a brokerage where you see donuts in the office? You're like, you know who brought those. You just want a donut. You take off, right? So instead of doing, I was like, thinking like a consumer, what do I need to do to get this guy's attention, right? This doctor's attention, this nurse's attention. Like, if I'm going to do this, how do I get their attention? So instead of making the donut, like when I looked at their thing, all I got blasted with was Dunkin' Donuts, right? So I was like, instead of doing that, I'm gonna just make the box my business card. Instead of taping a business card of the box, I'm just gonna make the box my business card. So I went and got custom boxes made. They're big, black glossy blocks or boxes, and they say "Let's ink a deal" on the front. My Instagram and phone number down the sides. On the top, I have my logo, my cartoon character, right? And go get these 8 donut boxes or get them all made. They get shipped to me, put donuts in them, drop them off the hospital. I was on 27 stories that night. So this is the same idea somebody else had. And that same night, I was on 27 different people's stories. And those were like the nurses and stuff from the hospital. And there was a lot of times it was a selfie, and it was because I had my Instagram on the box. Like I posted on it at that time. I think it was 2 tattooed at the time, but I had that post down the side of the box. And now I'm just like, damn, 27 stories I was on that night. I don't care if the nurse has 300 followers. Like, that's a chance to be in front of 300 people I wasn't before. And she's blasting a thank you to me. Now you see my logo, the box, and other people are going to comment on that. I was getting flooded with followers that whole night. So I'm like, R&D, I could go on and on and on forever about ideas I've had that people call me a genius for. And it's somebody else's idea. I just made 10 more steps on it. And this is where I look at marketing as people are like, what's the definition of branding? What's the definition of marketing? To me, it's a thought process. It's an activity. Like, marketing to me is it's an action word. It's a verb. So it's the branding. It's like you're constantly doing. It's the art of doing. So when I look at marketing, like this donut box idea, this dropping donuts off at a hospital idea, should I say, it's more like I look at it as a tube of toothpaste, right? And what happens when you start running out? Like, you start rolling that bitch up, right? Like, you're trying to get every inch out. You just squeeze everything out of it. So now I'm like, I got this donut box idea. How do I squeeze every little inch of toothpaste out of this to make it the best thing ever? So there's a lot of things that you guys are doing in your business or someone else is doing in your office that if you just took time and had a thought process around the entire situation, like, what else can you squeeze out of that one little thing? To give you perspective, like my office, if you look around, like, it's a crazy, like, designed office. It's got a wall of like just crazy stupid art and shit. But where I'm at, I have a coffee shop next door, and I have a murder mystery place right here. It's like people go solve those puzzles or whatever it is. But I was like, I want people that I got constant foot traffic by my office. I'm already paying for the office, but how do I squeeze the toothpaste out of this office, right? At night, I got pink lights that light this whole place up because I want everyone that walks by to just get blasted with the logo, the pink, and just look in here and say, what the hell is this place, right? Because the what the hell is this place? They're going to see, oh, he is an agent. I got my shit all over the doors up front. And it's just more to be like, oh, maybe on down the road 2 years from now, a year from now, I'll be like, remember that fucking pink room we saw? Like, it's on the main road. Like, people drive by. It looks like a massage parlor, one of those late night ones at night. But I know it's going to bring people in their eyes, right? They're just going to, I'm already paying for this office space, but how do I use this office space to get more eyes? So that's more of just going off subject anyway, but it's just like looking at everything. R&D is like, take ideas everyone else is doing and just figure out how to make it your own. Step 6 it's my favorite one. It's because I'm not looking for right now business. When I started real estate, I never started real estate with the idea of I'm going to sell 10 houses a year. I started real estate with an idea of when I got engaged twice, as you guys found out, embarrassing that. Guess why I went? I went to this place called Shane Code. Shane Code's been advertising in Arizona since I was a kid. And they had this guy, his annoying ass voice on the radio. It was Scottsdale Road in Tacoma, 1 mile south of Bell Road. Like, it's that tagline that was stuck in my head forever, right? If I go slip and fall in a grocery store, I know 4 lawyers' numbers memorized in my head from constant advertising through the years. Learn and enroll is the way to go. Call 977-1940. Like all these lawyers' numbers, Goldberg and Osborne, 1-800 the Eagle. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are by you that you memorize their number, right? And when I started thinking about it, there's never been that name in real estate in Arizona. There's one guy named Russell Shaw, who was the guy that made fun of me in the beginning that got me the news story. But because he was such a famous agent in Arizona. So when I started asking everyone in real estate, I said, who's the most famous agent that you know? And I heard the same name, I heard Russell Shaw and this other lady, Shannon Gillette. And I did some research on her and found out who she was. But the point is like I was going for that name. And I knew it wasn't going to come 1 or 2, 3 years in. And I was like, I made 70 grand a year driving a semi and it ruined my life. If I can make 70 grand in real estate, I'm happy. So everything else for the first 2, 3 years, I poured into my business, just trying to be the loudest fucking person on the block. Cause I want to be that name that Call Raffi, the Learner and Row. I want to be that name in the Valley. So my marketing is going to be different from a lot of people. And mine is a lot of guerrilla based attention marketing because there's always a because I take everything I've learned in the industry and I want to tell it so you guys can have that same thought process, how to change something. That same lawyer that inspired me to start real estate, who saved my life, essentially, just seeing his success saved my life. I wanted to be that for other people. But when I met him, I went up to him. I was like, dude, you have no idea how much you mean to me. And he was just like, whoa, like, it's weird. I never heard that before. Like he was like taken back. And I'm like, dude, you saved my life. Like you have no idea. And it was just from him, the attention he's created on himself that did it. And we did a podcast together, but he was like, he spends $2 million a month on marketing, like commercials, radio, billboards all around town. It's a lot of money. But he was like, you could do the same thing. He's like, because if I walk in a grocery store, not necessarily everyone knows it's me. He's like, you have such a look that's defining that everyone's going to know it's you on that billboard. So one of my first close or like 5th or 6th closings, I got a billboard, which is the stupidest thing in the world. Everyone told me not to do. But I was like, dude, I'm just going to try it out. Like what I made no money at Pepsi, ruined my life. I'm having fun in real estate. Like I'll fucking buy a billboard. I don't care. It's like, it's going to get me more promotion. Right. So having this one billboard took my mom to, it was a cool video we did, but all my friends were hitting me up for money. They're like, dude, I need to borrow this. I'm like, well, everyone thinks I'm a fucking millionaire now. All from this billboard. Like you could sell one house. And if you get a billboard, you look like you're the best agent in town. Right.
Perception.
It just takes that thought process. What people say is like, they're telling you the truth. You just have to put that on a mass scale. Right. So the billboard that, Steven mentioned the other one. It was an NSYNC billboard. I don't know if you have a picture of it, but the first billboard I did, and this is going to go to attention for you guys. The first billboard I did, I had like a smile on my face. I looked nice, and I had a like looking to buy or sell. Like it was a call to action. It was stupid, and it got posted on Facebook, and people were making fun of me. Like I can't believe this guy's in business or whatever, and I was just looking at the comments, like go back to prison. This shit all pissed me off, but it didn't really matter to me. So now that I had a billboard, I'm like, you know what? If this is going to get hate too, I'm not going to go for the value add. I'm not going to go for the look at me suit and tie, because it's probably me that they don't like. It's not the messaging. It's not what I do. It's me that they're not really liking in this. So I said, instead of trying to do what everyone else does and get business from it, I'm just going to use it as an attention platform. So a billboard company will charge you based on how many drive-bys come by the billboard. That's how much you're gonna pay monthly, right? So I started thinking, this is next to a busy ass intersection. I'm just gonna throw my Instagram on here and make people laugh, because it's getting made fun of anyway. So what the hell am I doing the cool shit for? Let me just do what I know how to do best, is make people laugh. So I was like, I took the NSYNC album cover and I put my face on all their bodies, and I said on top it says bye bye bye, BUY, song bye bye bye, obviously, but are you not in sync with your living situation? Let's talk. This billboard was on like 400 stories. So now it's just like I'm double dipping essentially, because I got the billboard with drive-by traffic, but they don't take into consideration how many people post it saying, what the hell is this? Or look at this funny ass billboard. So over the span of months, and all these billboards that were funny, like I used dinosaurs on one. Do you have the whole one? Because a whole subdivision in Gilbert tried to get me taken, or
let me see.
like they were
Yeah.
I
have it.
They went to the town of Gilbert council meeting to get this one taken down, try to get it taken down. So give you guys perspective, driving down this road, there's a group of trees that kind of sits off to the right. So you only see, like for a half mile, you just see this big word that says ho. And when you get past the trees, there's also a train stop right there. So a lot of people get stopped on the train right here. And those are the billboards I was going after, is the one that has stopping traffic. So I put this one purposely by a railroad crossing because I wanted people to look at it all day. But again, it's just real estate message it's just more to get attention. And it got attention because the whole subdivision behind it, we're trying to take it down to the city of Gilbert. I told them, I'm a good dude, like in real life. If they would have came to me respectfully, I would have taken it down. But they came at me sideways and posted me and blasted me without even having a conversation. So I left it up and said, if you guys want to take it down, pay full price and get it removed. Because the billboard company gives me a discount. So if anyone's willing to pay full price, they'll take me down, put them up.
Hey, Justin. Hey, so with the attention, right? Sometimes there's negative attention and haters that you're gonna get too, right? So you just have to. What's the mindset on that? Just block it out, keep going.
Use them for attention. People hate unprovoked negativity. Look at the election. People are split 50-50 no matter what, right or wrong. Like there's a side, right or wrong, people are going to be split. So with the negative attention, that same billboard I told you that people made fun of, that first one I put up, I had a title company post my numbers next to the agent's numbers that made fun of me. And he said, well, you may not think it's a good thing to do. He's like, but he's blowing your numbers out of the water. And that like stuck with me. So I'm like, here I am. And what I did, instead of knocking these people, because I'm not going to change her mind. She's not going to go through her thought process, which is like, oh, he's a great guy, I'm going to like him now. She made up her mind. So I'm like, since you made up your mind about me, I'm going to make up my mind about you. And all I did was share her comment. I said, hey, great that you want to talk about me like this in my business. You know, you're a realtor. I said, to show you how wrong you are, all I'm asking you to do is never to erase this post. If you want to call me out, at least I'm authentic. And I said, all I'm asking you to do is, if you have this opinion, stand by it. And I shared it on my page. It went from 7 comments to like 45 in 10 minutes. And people were tagging NAR, they were tagging the department, like saying, isn't this a code of ethics violation? Because what she put against me. And come to find, then her brokerage called me, the president called me, like she wanted me to, or they wanted me to, they were going to fire her. And I said, do not fire her, please do not. Like, I'm sharing to teach her a lesson. It was more the, if you have this opinion, why aren't you standing by it? Because as soon as it hit 45 comments, look what happened. It got erased. So when the attention, it's good or bad, you take and use it for your advantage. So when I posted her comments, I was flooded with messaging like F her, F this. It doesn't matter what they were saying. It's those people are going to bat for you. So I'm taking anything negative. I'm also turning it positive for me too. So that's it's everything, guys. Take that freaking tube of toothpaste out. And the last thing I'll touch on attention is the billboard came down. The first one, right? Because someone paid full price. And I was like, necessarily don't want to get billboard right now, but I want to have a driving billboard. Like, what's a car everyone looks at? And I thought limo, because I mean, I only had a couple closings at the time, but I was like, a limo is something where no matter where I see a limo, I'm always like, damn, I wonder who's in there. So I went and bought a cheap limo. It was like 2000 limo. It's a white, wrapped it with my branding, and I would drive around town. I would park it in the busy areas and leave and go home and come back and get it later. I would take my kids to school in it though, and drop them off for school. They came back in that same day and they're like, Daddy, are we rich? And I laughed. I said, what? And they're like, everyone thinks we're millionaires. I'm like, for what? They're like, because the limo. All the kids like ran up to the limo when I dropped them off and picked them up. And I was like, their mom's Camry cost twice as much as this limo, but it was like the attention of the limo. So I got my kids' baseball jerseys that had my branding on it. So I got shirts made that said like, sell houses not dope, future house slinger, had my cartoon character. And I gave them to all the kids at the school because they would always run up to the limo. And I started handing out shirts. There was an event at their school once where walking around the school, I saw 8 kids wearing my shirt. And it just kind of like set this, all this shit's fun. It's easy. It's the easy steps that you're doing to constantly get people to talk about you. It's seeing my shirt when I'm not around. It's the seeing the limo when I park on the streets, the billboard here. It's the video that got shared. It's every aspect working for me when I'm not working. So every day I could be with my clients. I can do my prospecting. I can do my follow-up how I need to. But now I have these avenues of social media, of billboards, of t-shirts, of wrapped cars, of my business cards that I made goofy, the office. It's several different things where no matter where you go, I just want to punch you in the face with something. Like that's my marketing technique. It's the process of doing. It's the thought process behind everything you're doing. But I'll answer questions more. Like, sorry that it's kind of brief on these 6 steps, but those are just a general outline of what I do in business.
That was so good. So good. Let's go ahead and give Mr. Justin Call Tattoo a huge round of applause. And let's definitely open it up for some
Hey,
questions. Steve,
Leo.
I think you had some. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. One thing I want to say to everyone on the call is I bet a lot of you guys are like, oh, but he's outgoing, just like me, right? People think like, oh, he's outgoing. I can't do that. I'm shy. I've got to meet Justin and he's shy. Like
I'm an introvert.
me and Justin are quiet. We'll be in the corner of the room just like chilling. We're not loud. So this is low key like uncomfortable for us. Even
I
for
got
me.
a tip for people too that are nervous, because what Steven said is a real thing. Like people are like, I'm not outgoing. I'm not outgoing. If you guys ever meet me, I shake in public. I stand against, I almost look like an asshole because people think I'm this bright personality and I'm really an introvert that stands in the corner. So they just think, oh, he's too good for us. I'm like, no, I'm nervous as hell. Like this is hard for me too. Like I'm a truck driver by nature. I'm a father by nature. I'm not this marketer. I'm not a brander. So what Steven said though is, on video it looks like I am. I'm not. In reality, it's just me and the camera though. I'm very realistic in like what is my situation? It's a camera. I can turn this thing off 20 freaking times, and I do. When I take a picture, I take 40 pictures and choose one. When I do a video, I shoot it 4 or 5 times and choose the best one. So if you're in that mode where you're stuck or I'm not outgoing, I don't have personality, it's fine because it's just you and the camera. Conquer that fear first, because no matter how stupid you are, how vibrant you are, you can make yourself look like that person you're trying to be by just being open and not knowing there's no one around me right now. It's just me and this camera. So let me shine like I am alone. So
Yeah.
it wasn't easy at first, but when I started thinking like that, it's like, this is the only way to get business. It's not a question. I have to be this person. And it kind of helped me grow smaller, which when I just filmed by myself.
Mm,
So
I love that.
anyone could
That's,
do it, guys. Anyone could do this.
Oh yeah.
yes.
Let's go.
And there's a question here posted by Shasta. She said, when stepping out, how do we not come off as prideful or arrogant or like cocky, but also, hey, choose me to be your realtor? That's all right. So how do you convey that, right? And that was her concern.
It's the confidence. It Yeah, I use everyday situations for what I'm saying to you. I went to a listing appointment where 8 people interviewed before me. And when I walked up to the door, it was this lily white family from Utah. I'm talking, the parents were in the room and the dad had khakis and those New Balance shoes. Like it was like Utah Mormons in this. And I came with ripped jeans, a hat. And I'm like, I'm not getting this listing. And I sat down at the table and they ordered 7 people, or they had interviewed 7 people. They looked nothing like me. It's like, I'm like, they're not going to like what I do. And I had that thought process: I'm not getting this. I'm going to make this a quick listing appointment. Just get the hell out of here. It's Saturday. Right. And I was so matter of fact in this appointment. I sat down. I was like, hey, I don't really look at the house. Like I know the floor plan. So I just did a brief one around. I wasn't building rapport. I just pointed out like, hey, is that staining? What is this? Blah, blah, blah. Sat down and I was just super direct. I say, you're gonna get a lot of agents that are gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. And here's the market, here's what I do, all that kind of stuff. But being so direct, and they were like, hey, we have someone, and this is a time where interest rates were at 3. So people were listing at homes at 3%. Like they're taking 1.5, giving out 1.5. It was stupid. And she was like, I got someone at 3.5%. What do you charge? And I was like, well, first, how did you find me? And she said, well, we called your billboard. I said, oh, so my marketing. She goes, yeah. I said, well, how do you think I'm gonna sell your house? And that was all I said. And she's like, well, how much do you charge? I said, well, I charge 6%, but I said, you getting the 3.5. I said, all you're doing is you're just falling for a bag of goods. And she smiled and said, what do you mean? I said, well, no one saves you money up front. You didn't close your house yet. I said, you only get paid, and anyone only gets paid. You only get paid. I only get paid when this house closes. So anyone coming in here say, I'm going to sell it at 3.5%, like they're not saving you any money. They're just basically giving you a bag of goods to hide what they're not doing well. And here's what I do well. And just being super direct like that, just not letting them be right. The moment you make them right, they're going to be right and choose somebody else. So I gave her pushback on everything she said. I left 10 minutes later. They called me. I got the listing. So when I tell you it's that, and that changed all my listing presentations after that. Cause I used to go get nervous, dude. I used to kiss people's ass. Like I was just that pick me agent. And that moment I stopped becoming the pick me agent and just said, I'm a professional. I do everything. Here's what I do. And I'm the best for you. And I'm not going to drop who I am to appeal to you. I'm just going to try to overcome your objections. But I think that works better for me. Like, but when I go to a dentist, I don't want to go to the ugly dentist in the strip mall. Like I want to go to a nice, like standalone dentist in a nice area, just because I'm just like, I want that professional. I want that professional feel. So,
Yes.
if you're not that person, like that confidence will always stand out more than anything else, or they want a professional. That's basically what I was trying to say.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man. Hey, we got a couple more minutes as we're wrapping up. Any other questions, guys? I love everything you're saying. I think we just for someone who doesn't really know how much about branding or marketing, how do you get started? Right? How do you get started? That's the question, Natalia.
I think that's the $1 million question when it comes to all these branding classes. And branding is also a big trap. It's a big waste of money, because the branding is not putting your logo on a ball of water and putting it in your local nail studio and saying, I'm just going to give free waters to everyone. They're going to take it. They're going to take that and throw it away. You have to have the conversation behind handing someone something or behind doing something, a video. Like I said, the billboards, it was just to get my foot in the door. I'm not trying to do a value add, but always have that foot in the door moment with your marketing. So it's not the bottle of water, it's the handing it to them and them seeing who you are, seeing your personality, talking to you for the 30 seconds. It's going to stick out more when you hand it to them. So branding to me, it's like I said, it's a mindset to me. It's everything I do has to embody branding, the colors, from the colors, the name, what you stand for, like what you do. Like someone's just going to be the roller skate realtor and put it on a business card and hand it to everybody. That's not branding. Branding is incorporating everything you do under the same umbrella so people know who you are. And that's why I said it's that tube of toothpaste. It's the not just seeing my office. You see my office with the colors, with the logo, with who I am, with the making you stare at something, making you look at something. So to me, that's what branding is. It's don't get caught up in, because at first, until you find out what your brand's going to be, you're forcing yourself to make a brand. It has to come naturally. And when I say that, it's because I knew I was going to be a real estate agent, right? Get very super clear what you are and what you're doing. I'm a real estate agent. If you go look online anywhere, it's going to tell you how to get business as a real estate agent. It's the only way to get business is to door knock, cold call, circle prospect, open houses, all the shit that nobody wants to do. I knew I wasn't going to be on the phones all day because I don't want to spend 4 months nurturing Leo. And then he meets me in person. It's like, whoa, shit, look at tattoos all over his face. Like it's an objection I'm going to have to overcome later on down the road. I'm not going to go door knocking because every neighborhood I show up, they're going to call the cops. They see me knock on the door, right? So I knew I wasn't going to do any of those things. So when I started thinking like, what am I going to do? Open houses stood up to me big time. And shit, I can go on for stories for day, but anyway, open house. And I didn't want someone to go to open house and see me when they walk in the open house, they're gonna be like, oh, did he kidnap the agent? Like, where's the agent, right? I knew it was gonna be a thing. So before I even did open houses, I was in school when I branded myself. I became the tattooed realtor in school. And my business cards, I got open house signs that made to me. I wrapped my car. I had my car wrapped before I was even licensed. You have no idea how serious I was about this. Because if you go to an open house, I don't want someone to come in that house and I have to now overcome the objection of my look. It's going to take too much time. Doesn't showcase who I am. Doesn't showcase the house. Nothing. So by the time they got to me, they saw the open house signs that were my colors branded to me. They saw the car in the driveway that was my logo branded to me. They saw a 6-foot cutout at the door of me that said, "Don't be alarmed by the big tattooed guide. Sign in and enjoy the tour." It's overcome the objection before I have to. Then they walk in, they sign in. There's a tattoo machine as a pen they sign in with. They have fake tattoo sleeves for the kids. It's an experience, and they walked in. But now when I say hi, they know exactly who I am and what I'm there for. That's the branding part of it. It's the being that person where they don't have to ask who you are. They don't have to find out who you are. That's what branding is to me. It was more because I wanted to look legit. Branding to me is a way to look legit.
Love it, bro. Very well said. Very well said. And we're at the top of the hour. There was one last question that if you can answer this one quickly, because we're at the top of the hour. It's a new agent, 8 months in, wants advice regarding he also operated a small business and has a lot of clients. So how can I show my audience of the field I'm involved in, like kind of merging both worlds in? Like what would you say is a quick piece of advice that you would give?
Well, so like I went to my old work and I dropped them off donuts all the time. All the truck drivers, there's 90 of them in there, but they all come to me because I didn't forget who I am. I'm a blue collar dude at heart. And I heard a quote by Tony Robbins, and this might fall into what you're asking, it's you're best suited to serve the ones you once were. So if you're an agent that's struggling to get business, or you're trying to drum up extra business, you're trying to get from 1 deal to 2 deals a month, you're best suited to serve the people you once were. So who are you? What was that business? Go to those people. I go to the blue collar people all the time. And you're not using me because my face is tattooed and I have a billboard. You're using me because I am you. I was once a blue collar worker. When I was going through divorce, like, I grew up in the ghetto my whole life. When I pulled up to my house, when I bought a house, like, that shit mean a lot to me. Like, I cried when I sold my house through that second divorce. Like, that it meant to me to like own a home. So when I tell people why they're using me, it's like, you're not using me because of all the fun and games and the rapping Steven. You're using me because I care. Like, I was once you. Like, I know my house got me out of 2 divorces with equity. And in delivering those messages to the people that need to hear it. And those people are the people you once were. So if you have that second business and you're trying to merge the 2 together, like, that's, I don't know, it's a hard way to explain it, but it's just like embodying both those together, because that is who you are. So
Yes.
approach them like, why do you buy, why you sell real estate, and give it to the same perspective that they need to hear.
Yes. I love that. Big round of applause. Let's
go.
Come on now. That's so fire.
Go.
So fire. So fire. So fire, man. Thank you so much, Justin.
Appreciate you guys. I mean, it's called Tattoo on Instagram. If you guys,
Leo, can you put his little QR back up? Hey guys, we do this every Wednesday. So if you want some more information and you want to tap in every Wednesday, send me a DM.
Yeah, this is let me see. I think I didn't blow it up, but it's called Tattoo on Instagram right there. Call Tattoo on Instagram, guys. Yes, every single Wednesday we're bringing in some amazing speakers. Justin, thank you so much, bro. Like, your story was moving.
You guys can copy any videos I do, copy anything. Like, I don't care. You can copy shit word for word, steal. If you guys are looking for content, you guys need an extra hand, you can I answer my DMs. So I try to be there for every agent. So if you guys ever want anything of mine or have questions, let me know.
And he's in Arizona, he's in Arizona, right? Arizona.
Yep, Arizona. So if you guys got referrals out there, definitely. Also, I was talking to Steve before the call. One last thing before we let you guys go. Obviously, Justin, Steve, right? Many people within this community have crushed it on social media, and there's certain things that you guys are doing right and certain things that you're not, right? Like, Justin was talking about how he picked an agent, right? He's like, hey, these people are boring me. They're not that interesting. So what Steve is doing, he's going to pick 10 people that submit their information here on the QR code, and he's going to do a free social media audit for 10 people only, right? So scan this QR code, and if you're interested, put in your handle. And what he's going to do is pick 10 people at random, and he's going to jump on a call with you and do a social media audit to basically go through your Instagram or your TikTok, whichever platform you're using, and he's going to do a deep dive to give you like the nuggets of what you got to shift in order for you to become an attractor, a magnet of business. So make sure you scan that QR code right there. Stay tuned for more calls. Every single Wednesday, we're going to bring that fire. And once again, Mr. Justin, bro, appreciate you so much, man. God bless you, bro. Thank you so much. All right, let's get it. See you guys later. Peace.